I wish to share my time, with your permission, with Deputy Michael D. Higgins, and I propose to take 7 minutes approximately, if I may. Thank you. Can I just refer, in the first instance, to the Minister's speech on Budget Day, where he stated that, and I quote, "In the measures I am presenting today, those on the new reduced minimum wage will not be brought into the tax net." Well, if ever that was a case of misleading the House, there you had it, because the Minister, about 4 pages on from that, in introducing the universal social charge, which was defined under the financial resolutions which came after that budget speech as a tax, he introduced, through the universal social charge, a taxation of 2% from income from 0 to 10,000 euros approximately, 4% from there to 16,000 and 7% from 16,000 onwards. So not only did those people who suffered the reduction in the minimum wage rate suffered that reduction of itself, but they are all now also brought in to the tax net and have to suffer the double whammy of the universal social charge, which is a tax on top of that. And to give you an idea of the logic and the insight into the minds of how the Minister thinks, I refer you to the financial emergency measures in the public interest bill, which was debated last Thursday, the 9th of December, where the Minister states, and I quote, "As I said before, the government decided that the pay of the Taoiseach and ministers should be cut again. When combined with the changes in taxation and PRSI in the budget, their pay will drop by an equivalent percentage amount to the reduction applied to the minimum wage." Now let me quote that again. "When combined with the changes in taxation and PRSI in the budget, their pay will drop by an equivalent percentage amount to the reduction applied to the minimum wage." That's the logic that dictates how this government works. And it's a logic of a government that has thrown the whole idea of poverty-proofing any taxation or budgetary measure quite literally out the window. And I think it's high time that they were booted out of office, and I think it's high time that a government comprising of the Labour Party is brought in so that we can reverse these measures and restore some degree of equity. Because it is grossly unfair what they have done to people who are working on the minimum wage. And there's no other way of saying it. It is contrary to any canon of taxation. It's contrary to any republican ideal that we all may hold in terms of how you treat workers in an economy, particularly those on the margins and particularly those who are low paid. It is grossly unfair and it should be reversed. When the Labour Party launched its budget proposals 2 weeks ago, reference was made to the impact of the national minimum wage and the government strategy for job creation. According to the most recently available statistics, 41% of those on the live register have a manual, craft or industrial background. 1/3 of those aged between 15 and 24 who have remained in the labour force are unemployed. We are concerned that 116,000 workers, or 6.6% of the workforce, are living below the poverty line, that the working poor make up 24% of all those in poverty and 40% of all households in poverty, and that the minimum wage is especially relied upon for protection by women, migrants and other vulnerable workers. A total of 68% of those earning the minimum wage work in the hotel, catering, retail and wholesale trades. Low or no employment growth is anticipated in these sectors in the future, as there will be a permanent contraction from boom time employment levels. Consequently, a cut in the national minimum wage will not lead to any direct job creation. It is expected the primary areas in which jobs will be created in the coming years are financial services, insurance, business communications, health and ancillary care services, all of which are non-minimum wage sectors. The Irish labour force has already proved itself adaptable and flexible. The decline in unit labour costs has exceeded the decrease in consumer prices, producer prices and GDP by 11.2% between 2008 and 2010. In manufacturing, the real effective exchange rate is expected to be down 20% between 2008 and 2011. So lower paid manual and craft jobs have been hardest hit by the reduction in gross earnings of minus 9.75 between the end of 2008 and the start of 2010. So the government strategy is to use supply-side solutions such as cutting social welfare benefits and the national minimum wage to address a demand-led problem in a slumping economy. And this is illogical, incompetent, and it's a bogus argument, Alas Ceann Comhairle, for reducing wages to those people who rely on the minimum wage. I'll pass over to my colleague. Thank you, Chair.